What's the motherfucking deal, Sauce Nation? Welcome to Sauce Sports. If you're not familiar with Sauce Sports is a Houston, Texas Homer network. So with that being said, we're talking all sports, but only Houston. But today we're finna get into some of that motherfucking Texans pregame talk. I apologize. I was working on having it looking good like last week, man, but some things came up so I didn't get a chance to finish everything up. But hey, it's all good, man. We still gonna deliver y'all the sauce. We're still gonna keep it fresh. And, we're going to make sure it's all about the content that y'all motherfucking me need. So, with that being said, man, we got Winking Breaking News Bray in the building. How y'all doing this afternoon getting ready for this Texas pregame?
Shit, we doing good, man. Doing better than the particular fan in the chat right now. He know who he is.
Right. Doing good, man.
Okay. So anywho, we go talk about a couple of things, man. We go get it. We're gonna talk about a particular play that took place with that too. But first and foremost, we're gonna talk about the most important thing happening in the city of Houston, man. Excuse me, and that is the freshest motherfucking ingredients, man. That is you. If you don't know what a fresh motherfucking ingredient, that is you, Sauce Nation. If you subscribe, if you fucking with the flavor one way or another, but if you just a visitor, you can become a fresh ingredient by hitting that subscribe button, hitting that like button, man, and become a part of Sauce Nation. It's just that simple. So what we're gonna get into, man, is seeing who we got in the chat, and then we're gonna talk about what we need to look forward to for the game. So let's see who we got in here with us this evening, afternoon, whatever you want to call it. I see Broderick Brooks, David Pritchard, Kenneth. I see Zach, even though you're a Cowboys fan, he be fucking with the sauce super tough. Jason S, Brian Cushing, Clarence. Good to see you, Clarence. Good to see you. We going, Quincy Jones, No Fly Zone, Mr. Asian Pikachu, my favorite of all the Pikachus. I see Dylan Terrell, Sully Joe Nathan. What's the motherfucking deal? Let me see. Let's see. Kellum Boys, what's the motherfucking deal? DeMarcus, what's the motherfucking deal? James Harden, I see you. The Coon, what's going down? David Pritchard, I might have said your name twice, but twice is nice. You know what I'm saying? McVice. T-Mac, what's the motherfucking deal? Heidi, yes, I was bowling. I got gypped in the bowling, man. The fucking bowling alley was rigged like a motherfucker. Like, hey, that shit was worse than the motherfucking Rockets in Game 6, Game 7, all that other good shit. But anywho, the Coon, Jay Bird. Let me see. Let me make sure I ain't missing nobody. I've got Samuel Coon, the Cool Amber, Zacharias 1997. What's the motherfucking deal? But like I say, man, we're going to get into a couple of things. We up against it. We got a little bit of time before the game gets started. We're going to make sure we get everybody up and out of here, with time to see the game. And so, first and foremost, as we get into the game tonight, I want to discuss a couple of players. And again, I didn't have a chance to. Well, I had a chance to, but the shit was kind of acting up, so I didn't get a chance to clean it up before I wanted to. We'll talk about five players that I want to take a look at this evening. Some of them based off their prior preseason performances, some of them based off the conversation we've been hearing about them in camp, and amongst other things. And some of these guys kind of on the bubble. Some of these guys may be trying to fight for a starting position or just a position overall. So we will see. I want to get to your thoughts on this and, Sauce Nation's thoughts on these things. Let me make sure bank is open. Everything else is all good. Okay. You got your bank money going. Starting off, the first person I want to talk about is a guy that I think, most of us kind of had a little eye on, we kind of were familiar with, but jumped off the page at us, this last preseason game, and I'm kind of paying attention, a little bit more attention. That is Duke Ejiofor. And I kind of want to know what you guys think that he will be doing tonight, if you expect to see a similar performance from him, because Bill O'Brien said that he expects to kind of see the same level of play from the starters like last game, since they did get a bunch of good looks this week in the joint practices. Do you expect to see the same quality of performance from Duke, or do you expect, maybe they like what they see from Duke and may not use him as much, try to keep him, a little bit fresher? What are your thoughts on Duke, Wink? And then we'll get to breaking news, Braylon.
Well, I think we're pretty much going to end up seeing, the same thing we saw from him in the last game. The offensive line and just the way that things were going in practice this week, I see no reason why he doesn't ball out. And he's in front of the home crowd now, so he really gets to show off. So, I really see that ended up being the situation. The man has a lot of talent. He's around a lot of Pro Bowl, future Hall of Famers, you know what I'm saying? And he has a Hall of Fame defensive coordinator who's going to be able to teach him a lot of things that's going to be beneficial to his game for years to come. So I see no reason why Duke Ejiofor is not going to be one of the men tonight. And if he's not on Sports Center or NFL Network being talked about tomorrow, it's going to be a travesty.
Okay. Breaking news, Braylon, your thoughts on Duke Ejiofor and what he can bring to the table tonight?
With the way the 49ers offensive line has looked throughout practices over the last few days, I expect nothing but Duke Ejiofor dominating from the line of scrimmage, just taking over this game, sacking their third or even a third string quarterback, who I forgot it was. But if he's in there against Jimmy Garoppolo would get exploded. I'm just saying. Because I truly believe that he is possibly the biggest steal in the draft overall. Probably bigger than Shaquem Griffin. It's just everything we've seen from him. His pass rushing skills coming out of college, his moves and stuff. I'm not saying that he's as good as the person I'm about to name, but his technique with it is as good as the player he'll play as J.J. Watt coming out of college. I mean, we saw Watt come out of college knowing this, spin move, swim move, all of that, performing it, just wasn't finishing the plays because of him being a rookie. And you can see Duke Ejiofor, spin moves, swim moves, all of that, power rush moves, all of that, killing them straight out of college as a rookie, knowing his technique pretty well. So just don't be shocked if he is the most dominant player in the game today.
Okay, the most dominant guy in the game today. Very interesting. That's very interesting. I think Duke will come out, will shine. I think that he has something to prove, because I heard, he was supposed to be a much higher round pick than he was, had the labrum surgery, and a lot of people kind of jumped off the boat after that and allowed him to fall down to, what was the sixth, I think, that we got him in, something like that, one of the later rounds. And so I think he kind of has something to prove. That's what I like about guys, late round guys, who, feel like they kind of got the shaft or that they kind of got overlooked. They have something that they want to prove, and usually that kind of sticks with them for quite a while, throughout the beginning of their career at least, until, they do prove it. And some guys get that big contract and then they be like, fuck it, I done proved myself and I got the check. But, man, I was pleasantly surprised last week with what he brought to the table, the way that he came out and balled, man. I was like, okay, this man is around the ball. This man is causing havoc. This man is putting pressure on Mahomes. This guy is going up against number one tackles and making them look mediocre. So, I mean, this is a rookie. Okay, the sky may be the limit for this guy. But like I said, I don't want to get overly excited. Again, you have to see it, and, maybe he's out there fighting, trying to earn that starting role. That might be an asset that could shift some things in this defense, and I'm looking quite forward to seeing ultimately what he can be. Another name that kind of popped out late in the game last week, and we had heard a little about him in preseason in the Greenbrier. I'd heard a couple of things, saw a couple of plays that he was making. There's the Josh Thornton guy, and a lot of people have been asking about him, number 36, the guy who broke the play up at the end last week. I mean, your thoughts on him, BNB, and then we'll get Wink's opinion on that.
I was asking, can you repeat it, because it was a little low for me.
What I was saying was that Josh Thornton, your thoughts on him and, what he can bring to the game tonight.
Josh Thornton is probably going to be one of the more underlooked players on this team throughout preseason. I mean, it'll be a story like James Charles, but he is already a bit better than James Charles. As you can see, last game he made, a couple of great plays, probably overtaking some spots on the field. Probably be on there more than he was last game, and we'll be able to show it against a better backup quarterback, C.J. Beathard, who is actually underrated. C.J. Beathard was actually a really good quarterback for 49ers before they got Jimmy G there. But Marcus Thornton is a player that you can't sleep on again. I feel like they'll try to develop them like they had to develop Boye. I'm just saying. Hopefully he can make strides like that. I'm not saying he will be Boye. I'm just saying they'll probably try to develop him like they developed Boye. Since it'll take 2 to 3 years. But as of right now, she's been making a couple of good plays. Made a fantastic play in the end zone last game. So we'll see.
Okay. Before we get to Wink, just a quick question: do you think that he's ahead of schedule, like compared to Boye at this point in his career?
I wouldn't say ahead. Now next year, he could be way ahead of Boye because he wouldn't have the injuries that Boye had early on. But it's just kind of early to say if he's ahead or not. I mean, we've seen a couple of good plays from him. Hopefully he can turn out and, possibly be ahead of Boye next year if he doesn't get injured.
Okay. Wink, your thoughts on Thornton and what we could possibly see from him tonight and maybe the future expectations for this kid?
I have no real expectations of him, to be honest. I haven't watched or heard a lot of tapes or, heard a lot of things about him. So I really don't want to go out on a limb and sit here and say, what he can and can't do, because I feel that would be, it wouldn't be logical on my part to say anything about him. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and just have my reservations. If I see him making some plays, and we can definitely go off of, what he's showing us in game. But until I actually see what he has, I'll just have to wait and see.
All right. No, the Josh Thornton kid, man. I like what I have seen from him. Again, he had a couple plays in practice that we saw against Coates, and we saw, a couple things from him in the game last week. And again, hey, when the pressure's on the line and you can make plays like that, that is critical. That's just a little bit more than the talent factor. There's a lot of guys that have talent, but then they can't perform when the pressure is on, when the lights come down to it. I mean, it was just a preseason game, but you got to understand when guys in that position, I mean, this is a career game. This is a make or break. I may be on this roster. I might not be on the team, in a couple of weeks. So this is a high-value situation for guys like that. And for him to show up and show that when the pressure's on, he's able to compete, and not only compete, but, make a game-saving play. I think that he's somebody you definitely want to pay a little bit of attention to because, again, he's with the corner situation on this team. Our first 3 guys good. We're good to go. But I think after that we kind of have some issues. His diversion, a couple of unknowns back there. He's just somebody I want to keep my eye on because I think that he does have the potential. I'm not going to say he's going to do it immediately this year. I know he's been around for a little bit. Hey, this may be a team that he can succeed with, and this may be a guy who could end up bringing some value to us, later on down the season. Not something I want to guarantee, but hey, if he can continue to play like he did against higher level talent the way he did last week, I think that's somebody that we should definitely keep an eye on. Now, I want to get to a guy that, of course, we're much more familiar with. It was good to see him kind of back in action, and it wasn't like we missed him too much last year, but it's just always good to see this guy play because I think he's kind of went under the radar. We hadn't talked about him much prior to, even though everybody knows what he's capable of, and that's Dylan Cole. Dylan Cole, Cole World, undrafted free agent last year, came in and just made a splash with the absence of cushion and, his situation. It was good to have somebody who could come in and not necessarily just fill that role, but you saw him do some things that were Cushing-esque, and you saw him do some things that maybe were a bit better than what Cushing ever brought to the table. And so to have that guy in a rookie and then to see what he's hopefully able to do in year 2, hopefully that he's made that leap. Your thoughts on Dylan Cole, Wink, and then we'll get we'll talk about how that B&B on that one.
I feel he's a phenomenal player, man. He definitely stepped up, and he definitely made everybody else's job very easy. I think with a guy mixed in with him and Cunningham and McKinney, and you got guys like Duke and Scarlett and, DJ Reader, Covington. We're not even talking about Clowney, White, and Merciless because that's like the big 3 in the front. It's just like we have so many other guys besides the big 3 who can help contribute to his success. And I think he's just one of those guys who just has a knack of getting to the ball, man. He's shown that. He's shown it last year. You try to tell people about him, they try to shit on him because they don't know who he is and they haven't done their homework. And it's unfortunate, that he's not one of the guys that really gets talked about, but you got a lot of dudes out here that claim they watch football and you really watch tape, but at the end of the day, you saying he doesn't jump off the screen when you watch him. Like I say, it's one of those unfortunate things, but don't worry. They'll find out sooner or later. And when he's picking your favorite quarterback off again and taking it to the house for 6, you'll learn about him then. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about what he's going to do, man. The man has been remarkable. Great speed, great instincts, great hands. He can tackle. He can do everything you need a middle linebacker to do. He has great strength, great point of attack. You know what I'm saying? And he's a great closer. Like the fact he finishes plays, it's not one play that I've seen him in where he was in on the tackle or something and he didn't finish it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not willing to put him. I'm not willing to quite say like he's like Navarro Bowman or Patrick Willis in their prime, but he could be headed that way with the right technique. As long as he keeps going, I honestly believe he could be on that level when it's all said and done.
I think I would have to agree with you on that one, man, because, again, like I say, to come in as a rookie and kind of do what he did, especially under less than qualified DC like Mike Vrabel, and still find a way to shine and still find a way to, be a part of everything. And if he wouldn't have got hurt, who knows what else would have happened, But still, like I say, made a solid impact. Came back in the game immediately last week, tipped the ball. Had Cunningham on a play. That's going to be a very nice duo to watch for the next few years coming on, especially with McKinney back and signed into a deal. So it'll be a good deal. B&B, your thoughts on Dylan Cole and what he really brings to this Texans team or this Texans defense?
Dylan Cole, should I say, was the most slept-on player coming out of this draft. Maybe it was because he went to a smaller school, Missouri State, and nobody really looked at him. He had an impressive combine, great 40, great bench. Everything you wanted of a combine, he had it. It was a great combine. But I think it's because of him not playing against the great competition of a Clemson or Bama or Miami or Wisconsin and teams like that have great players. Is what brought him down. And I'm glad they brought him down because, we went up there, and when Rick Smith gave him the $1 million contract as an undrafted rookie, that meant he was something. Because you don't get an undrafted rookie $1 million just for no reason. He was something. And then he came out, and his best play was staying foot for foot, getting the interception by covering Duke Johnson. When that play happened, you knew that this is somebody you got to watch for. This is somebody you have to pay attention for. And not only that, I saw, I was looking at some plays that was going on in training camp and then especially against the 49ers. And Jeremy, I can never pronounce his name, Jerry McKinnon for the 49ers. He's not, he's not anybody to sleep on. Dude can run. He got speed. Dylan Cole stayed foot for foot with him and took off that pass, and then allowed Tyrann Mathieu, which was Jimmy Garoppolo's second read, to the tight end to get a pick six. And Cushion was great and all. Cushion was great, but to me, I have not seen Cushion be able to stay with a running back and cover that running back as good as Dylan Cole is covering running backs right now. And to have that in your first season and then going on your second season and knowing that you can stay with this running back, that's a good thing, and hopefully we can keep him for many years to come. Because the more playing time he gets, the better he'll get. And you never know. He might be the next Bobby Wagner. He might be the next Navarro Bowman. We're not saying that he will be, but if he continues to play, stay healthy, then it could happen. It can happen.
Anything is possible. Yeah, anything can happen, man. So I think that he's on the right trajectory, man, that he can definitely become something major in this league. And it's funny that you mentioned about the competition that he played against probably, got him a lot of credibility docked. But yet, you look at some of these quarterbacks that came out, this year, last year that, I know a lot of people mentioned Allen, how he folded under pressure whenever it came time to play big games, but yet people still showed him a lot of love. I think that dude is number 17, part 2. Conveniently, he wears number 17, so we'll see what happens with that because I think the dude is going to end up being a trash can. Into another player, another guy who's been – last week, I won't say that he just performed exceptionally well. He had some plays – but we've been hearing a lot of good things about him in practice. We've been hearing a lot of good things that he's definitely pushing for a roster spot. Definitely an addition to this team that could be beneficial. But he definitely gained some yards because he definitely drew a couple of penalties, and that's Sammie Coates. Sammie Coates. And I think a real interesting, I don't want to say prospect because he's been in the league for a little bit. I think he's a talented player. Brings a little bit of height to that receiver position that we have been lacking since, Jalen Strong left, or they not left, but they let him go. And so I think it's just good. Sometimes you need to have guys that have that little bit of leverage, if he's able to go up and get it. And depending on how many receivers they carry, I think it's a close competition between him, guys like Braxton. We'll see what the situation is with Coutee because I think he's still kind of highly favored, though, even though he's been out. And they've been taking advantage of the fact that he's been out, especially Braxton and Sammie Coates by, performing well, been taking those reps and benefiting off of them. We've been hearing a lot more about Braxton, more so than we did initially. Coates has been getting a lot of love. But I kind of want to know what you feel personally about Sammie Coates, his chances of really making this team in the long run. And if he does, what does he bring to the table? But most importantly, what do we see from him tonight? Because I expect to see him get a significant amount of playing time similar to last week. So your thoughts on that breaking news, Braylon, and then we'll get to Wink on that one.
I mean, Sammie Coates is possibly a reliable receiver. I think he's here for leadership, to be one of the main leaders at wide receiver. DeAndre Hopkins, is one of the leaders, but after DeAndre Hopkins, you got Braxton Miller, Will Fuller. Bruce Ellington is also a leader. But Sammie Coates will be a very reliable target. Probably won't drop many passes. I mean, okay. Sammie Coates is a good wide receiver. Good. But I don't think he'll be a great wide receiver for us. Just because off a pass and how the offense is set up. I think he'll be the fifth string wide receiver on this team. Just based on how Keke Coutee has been doing and how Braxton Miller apparently has been stepping up a bit now with new competition, with his job being on the line for the Texans possibly. So I do see him playing a lot of minutes here because Keke still possibly won't play this week. I'm not sure if that's true, but it was a experienced veteran signing. Let me say it like that.
Wink, your thoughts on Sammie Coates and what his performance will be tonight, and his possible future with the Texans.
I think he's going to eat tonight. I think the secondary is not strong enough for the 49ers, and they've been proving that all week. If Bruce Ellington is out here mixing dudes the hell up, Sammie Coates is faster. Sammie Coates is bigger. He has a much wider range than just Ellington. Like, the tight ends are about to eat tonight. Everybody is about to eat. The only thing they even have hope to do is the first team defensive line. Once they go out, it's a wrapperoni with cheese with a ghost pepper on top. They don't stand a chance. Like Brandon Wheaton, we thought he looked good last week. We thought Joe Webb and guys like that looked last week. Once that first team defense, because we're going to be able to sustain for quite some time, because we saw what our second, third, fourth, even it took about like our fifth and sixth string to really die down. So I think the roster is rounded out, and the only reason why it is because of the coaching. I think this year the coaching and a lot of guys are really stepping up and they're making the shit a lot easier. And you can tell they're peeling back and they're really dealing with the fundamentals and communication. They really want to know, what do these dudes know? And you can tell that's what it was when they played their first game last week against the Chiefs. Their offensive line isn't as great as it once was. And, Joe Staley and guys like that are getting a lot older, and I honestly believe they're going to get taken advantage of tonight. The first team, if any of these guys play like Merciless or Watt or anybody like that, they finna have like a highlight, or they finna create so much pressure to where that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be looking bad out here. And the fact that he's been looking bad against us since he's been in Houston the last few days that's going to be proven right tonight. And we're going to see what Jimmy G can do against a healthy Texas team. Because the last time he faced us, we were broke the fuck up, and we still stayed in that 49ers game. So in an hour, we're going to be able to see everything that we need to know. And we'll be able to move forward, do the post game, and talk about what next week's challenge is going to be, because that's the game that's going to really count.
Okay. Yeah, and make sure y'all here immediately after the game, because we don't up on the sauce line during the pregame. We press for time, but post game, the sauce line going to be open. It's going to be fire like it was last week. We'll be taking all your calls, everything that you want to bring to the table, everything you want to speak on, talk about. Hey, we're going to be here for that. And I see y'all talking crazy in the chat. We're gonna address some of that stuff, but again, we since we have a time frame that we're up against, we'll get to some of those shenanigans later, because there's plenty to talk about. Shout out to Clarence. What's the motherfucking deal, Jay Dizzle? The last guy I want to talk about, man, is a real interesting guy. Spent a little time with Seattle, came over to the Texans, kind of made a bit of an instant impact. In the first preseason game, we didn't hear a lot about him initially, but with some of the needs that we have at that running back position, man, I want to talk about Troymaine Pope. And I just kind of want to know what you feel like, again, tonight. What will he bring to the table? What skill set will he display? And does he really have a chance to, at this point, while Deontay is out, does he have a chance to fight for that second-string running back position? We'll get your thoughts on that, Wink, and then we'll holler at B&B on that one.
I honestly think he'll end up beating out Alfred Blue when it comes to that spot. I think he has enough tools in his basket to go ahead to make sure that that spot is up for his, and only his to have. I think he just has a certain type of explosiveness. He can read his holes. He's very decisive. The fact that he can catch, then not that Alfred Blue, because Alfred Blue can catch well too. He can pass block. He can pretty much give it, and he's a little on the shorter side, so he can sneak in and out behind offensive linemen. And the fact that, he showed a level of patience last week, even though we didn't see a whole lot, you could see he had those type of tools in his basket. So I'm looking forward to watching him play. If he can play the second team reps, that's going to say a whole lot about him. And I'm definitely going to want to comment on that about the game, because I'm willing to say right now, he'll end up getting the second team reps off of what he did last week. If he's the first or second quarterback to play, and they just want to give Lamar Miller a rest tonight, and they feel comfortable, and he's the first running back to be on the field, that's going to say a whole lot about how they feel about Irvin and Blue at this point.
Okay. Y'all make sure y'all take part in the vote that's going on now. We got who's going to be RB2. Will it be Blue? Will it be Pope? I think vote 1 for Blue, vote 2 for Pope. B&B, man, what do you see coming out of Troymaine Pope? What do you think he brings to the table this evening? And does he have a chance to really battle to secure that RB2 spot?
Pope was, to me, a surprise last week. I was actually glad he stood out, because first off, Tyler Irvin doesn't have very much longer on this team. I can say that right now. And the way that Pope was reading all of the blocks, and as he was going through the right hole, he was showing that ability better than Alfred Blue. Granted, I do think the Texans go Alfred Blue being the second running back this week, just because it's a guy that they can trust, and they don't like to put out guys that they don't fully know yet. So, and then Blue has been here throughout Bill O'Brien's whole tenure. So, I think just because of that, Blue gets on the field. But to me, I think Pope is the better running back. Receiving, route running, catching, going through the holes, bursting through the holes, making the right read. One thing we do got to see is how Pope does pass blocking. So,
very good point. Very good point. And that is something that he may lack behind Blue. With the size and overall capability. That's something we'll just have to keep an eye on and see. Now, a couple of things I want to get into as we move on from the top 5 guys that need to be watched. I have to address some of the conversation that's been going on. Clarence Bortles is trash. Okay, I know you don't want to say it. I know that's your quarterback, man. I know that's your quarterback, man. But the dude is dumpster juice. I mean, not just normal dumpster juice, just like when it's been like a real bright, sunny, hot day. And it's like it's been collected in the corner of the dumpster, then it's just kind of like dried up and made like a nasty little film right there. That's kind of where he's at. He's processed dumpster juice. That was an inexcusable throw that he made earlier today. And I mean, quarterbacks make mistakes, but the dude is showing y'all is that playoff Blake that y'all calling him playoff Blake? But is that playoff Blake? I'm curious. But speaking of the Jags, I really don't give a fuck about the Jags. We've been knowing Blake Bortles is trash. I want to talk about that fucking play, man. And I've told y'all, man, I'm like, this year the NFL is on the brink of losing a lot of fans and becoming, just trash. LFL football is harder than fucking NFL football. The man had a clear-cut sack and was penalized for it with a roughing the – when sacks become roughing the passer, what is the point of playing defense anymore? Where do you go from here? And it's almost, especially with this defense that we have, finally looking like it's coming together to become something. Man, if plays like this are going to be called, what impact do you feel like this is going to have on the Texans in the long run? And the league overall. We'll get your thoughts on that, Wink, and then we'll jump to BNB and kind of get his perspective on that one.
Man, it's just making this league look so pussy, and people they're gonna want to blame it on protests and shit like that when they're not willing to take responsibility of the rules that they put in place. The rules and bullshit, and the refs not knowing how to fucking make accurate calls is the reason. And the fact that they not even man enough to say, "Oh, we made a mistake on that play, give them that play back." You know what I'm saying? Because that's the reason why people lose games and critical. It's plays that'll lose you a game. You know what I'm saying? But that was early in the game, so I'm not really gonna say that play was very early. That play right there is not gonna change anything on the outcome. But if that play happens at the right time in the game, it definitely could have that. And I'm not liking it, man. I don't like the fact that, this pussy-ass league, because that's what it is at this point. It is a pussy-ass league. The fans are doing everything they can to try to hold on to the essence of football but it's just not, it just doesn't seem like it's working out for the fans right now. The fans and the teams and the people that pay money to see this shit week in, week out are getting shitted on. And it's unfortunate. These dudes, they care so much. Fuck offense. Offensive has always been here. Otto Graham was out here shining. Like fucking Montana and guys like that were shining when they were playing. Steve Young, just guys throughout the entire history. You know what I'm saying? George Blanda, Warren Moon. Like, we can go on for guys. Like, dudes got stats, and a lot of these guys who have stats over the years, like Jerry Rice and shit like that, look at the time and the era that they played. Offense has always been here. Why are they acting like offense is just a new thing and that defense doesn't matter? Defense matters. It matters more than offense. You're going to always be able to run the ball. You're going to always be able to throw the ball. You're going to always be able to make good plays. But to sit here and to take away from the defense as often as they have over the last few years, that shit sucks to me. They don't care about the fans that love defense. They only care about offense and putting asses in the seats because they see points getting scored. Shit, getting the fucking pick six is fucking phenomenal too. Putting Tom Brady on his back, breaking his leg, that's exciting too. But that shit'll never happen because of the rules that they got in place, and it's unfortunate. I'm gonna go ahead and because it pisses me off to see shit like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let Braylon take the reins, man, because that shit don't make no sense to me.
All right, Braylon, man. I don't know if you get a chance to see the play, but your thoughts on that and the overall impact that's going to have on the game of football if they continue to allow calls like this in the game?
I technically can't be that mad because what they said the day before preseason started, and it was that there will be a lot more flags called in preseason than there ever has been. And that's one thing I say that don't make me mad. If that wasn't said, then I would be heated at plays like that being called. But they say that they want to make sure every play is at least called to see some stupid shit. Now, granted, that play was stupid as hell. Man had the ball in his hand. He didn't even hit him that hard. He was just pushed down, basically. That was a regular NFL tackle. Like, it's not like he picked him up and flipped him over and did some type of stone cold bullshit or some
hit him with the torture rack.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was a regular spear tackle. Like, can you just relax and not call the flag? Yeah, that makes me mad. Of course, that call makes me mad. But you can't get that mad because it's the preseason, and they said that they would call a lot more plays and they review over the week and then say, hey, that's not a flag. You can't call it. If you call it next time, you're getting penalized. And they said that they was trying to, practice this in the preseason. And I think that this will actually evolve the refereeing rules to where that now they have to put out a whole explanation like the NBA does, saying the reason why this was called at this moment to be fully explained. But I can't get too mad, but I can get mad because that play was stupid. And there's no way that should be called the flag. That's like me picking up a damn chair and then putting it back down. It happens all the damn time.
Man, yeah, and I think, and just kind of, again, I agree with some points that both of y'all made. And you say, that this is just a preseason game, and it's the preseason for the referees too, but still, I think that has an impact because, again, we're all human beings, and so you got guys, again, who are trying to make teams. You got guys who are trying to become a part of something. And something like that, again, that perspective, even we know it's bullshit, it can affect the way certain people get seen, that perspective that people have on them. And so I think that even though, it should not be a thing that they throw more flags. They should be trying to throw flags as accurately as possible. They should be trying to call the games as fairly as possible, as opposed to, well, let's just see how this works if we do this. Let's just see what happens. I haven't thrown a flag in a while. Let's see what happens, I don't feel like this is something that's always bothered me with the league, with the NFL, NBA, all these leagues, because the referees are not necessarily a part of the league. They're their own separate entity and their own unions. Like, fuck them not being able to be criticized. You have an impact on the game. If they just know, well, I have immunity as opposed, no matter what I do, even if I fuck up, I don't necessarily have to do my best to call this game, because if I fuck up, it really doesn't matter nothing's gonna happen to me. I'm gonna be Gucci no matter what. And if they say something, well, I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna be I'm gonna cry about it in my feelings because people don't like me. But I mean, shit, if you're doing a shitty job, then hey, you should be addressed as such. But again, too, and how you were talking about, it doesn't impact the outcome of the game. I don't know, man. Like, I think if this was a regular season game, like you said, a preseason game, it doesn't really matter. But momentum and things are a factor. If it's a play where you drive and you kill that momentum, or you stopping them on defense, and it's a third and long, and a play like that happens, and they continue that drive, they getting a score, even if it takes it from a 2 or 3 score game down to a 1 score game. That gives a team that feeling like, oh, we can get back in this. That gives them that motivation, that energy. And so to me, that can affect the game in the long term. Maybe not that immediate impact, but I think that it can change the energy long term. And so that, like I say, that's something that bothers me. I hope they get that shit correct. I need them to get that shit correct, because otherwise it's going to be hard. One being a Texans team, finally we got some hitters. We got some guys who've come to play. We got the defense that's looking good again. We got Cornell back in action. A lot of things that that make us excited. I want to do a quick prediction. Again, it's hard to tell because it's a preseason game. We're not expecting to see the starters again. He said it'll be something similar like last week. I hope Deshaun gets a couple of more passes in, but we'll see overall. I want a bold prediction. Mark my words. If you mark my motherfucking words, if you will, we got to bring that back. We got to get that ready. Mark my motherfucking words is the shit. Wink, I want you to lay a mark my motherfucking words on the game and give us a score prediction of what you think is going to be the outcome of this game.
I think the score prediction will be like 28-16, and I'll say, mark my motherfucking words, will be that Duke Ejiofor gets 2 sacks.
2 sacks, okay.
2 sacks, 3 hurries, and 2 quarterback hits.
Okay. Duke for a deuce of sacks already, and 3 hits, 2 hits. Okay, all right. BNB, tell me what you think, man. As far, give me a mark my motherfucking words on the game, and then give me your score prediction this evening. Now, y'all know in the chat, man, when I'm asking the roundtable these things, these questions are for y'all also. So I want to know y'all's mark my motherfucking words. I want to know y'all's score predictions also. And like I say, we'll definitely be back after the game talking shit about it. So what you got for me, Brady?
Mark my motherfucking words. Score will be 31-20. And my stats predictions for a certain player is that Tremaine Pope has 76 yards running and 20 yards receiving with a receiving touchdown.
I'm gonna give y'all my motherfucking words, man. My motherfucking words is, I want to be cautious because it is a preseason game, but I think he needs it because I didn't hear anything about him looking good in practice. My motherfucking words is that Jimmy G throws an interception in his short time out there within the first 2 drives. Mark my motherfucking words, because the Texans ate on him every first play of practice. They pulled down an interception, so I see the trend continuing over into the game. And I think the score will end up being something along the lines of, I'm going to call it 24-17 in favor of the Texans. I think that's what I'll go on record with. That's what I feel like the outcome will be. So I definitely think that's what I'll roll with. So again, like I say, we'll see what happens. But again, like I said, to remind y'all, we will be here after the game with the post game show. So if y'all missed that early, make sure y'all here. Now I want to say, there's been a couple of games going on the last few days, and I kind of want to know what y'all think. And I know that y'all mentioned about the Webster kid coming. We'll talk more about that in the post game, about the guy who's supposed to be coming visit next week, the corner. That's a very interesting topic, and I think we'll have to kind of expand on that for quite a bit. But been a couple of things going on around the league, man. Some guys have been shining. Some guys have been asked that, again, the experts. I tell y'all about experts all the time. I'm not an expert. I'm a fan. We're fans talking to the fans, man, because we're reasonable. These experts, they have some type of false pride. They feel like they have to prove, even when they're wrong. They don't want to go back and, hey, you know what, I was inaccurate about this. They just, again, continue with their bullshit. But I want to know what y'all saw this week or from the previous preseason games. What is the most interesting, I don't want to say outcome, because, again, but what is the most interesting thing that you've seen about a player that has been either undervalued or overrated? And I know there's a couple of guys that we can definitely discuss, but I want to know your thoughts, Wink, and then we'll get to BNB on that one.
I haven't really been paying a lot to the things that a lot of these so-called experts have been saying this past week. I mean, I just ended up seeing a couple of videos where, guys like Jimmy Garoppolo were being pumped up. I seen, the situation with Dez, and he was supposed to go there, and he didn't leave with a contract and all of this little stuff. And then, it was so assortment of fights and this and that. I mean, it's not really, I didn't really see anything too biased. But what I can say that did kind of rub me wrong was when Eric Mangini was on, when he was on the Nick Wright show, when he was on First Things First. And he was talking about Deshaun Watson and this and that, and these guys, man, they just don't. It's like they want to try to give credit, but then take it away in the same breath. It's just like you. I mean, what evidence has he shown in terms of regression? But they'll sit here and they'll no matter what, Carson Wentz is a straight MVP. He has no. It's not like he didn't just have extreme ligament damage. It's just like he didn't tear his ACL. The black quarterback tears his ACL, but somehow he's going to be at more risk when he's the safer quarterback. So I don't understand. How and why these people come up with the shit that they come up with. But I just say what I hate the most is just analysis. These guys have decades of experience in the NFL, and their analysis is so fucking lazy. Now, and that's why soft sports exists, because we tired of lazy ass analysis. We're talking about numbers. We learned about the salary cap. We're trying to relay that information. We're talking about breakdowns. We're talking about stuff. We don't claim to be experts. If I was the expert, I'd be getting paid like one. I'm a fan just like everybody else is. Just like they're fans of the sport. But at the end of the day, they make money and they lie to people. They do everything they can to gas fans to bring in views because they know that's what their show is dependent upon, and it's unfortunate. When did telling the truth become a horrible thing?
Exactly. People got false narratives to push. We was talking about that after stream, the other day, which is, these false narratives they feel like they have to push. They have friends in some of these organizations. They say certain things to make their friends look good. They still have ties to certain organizations that they probably in the future hope to be a part of. So they'll spread falsehoods, then a lot of fans, again, they just listen to platforms like ESPN or whatever, and just whatever the talking heads say, they just start regurgitating in some form or fashion instead of really looking at what's really going on. BNB, tell me what you have seen this week that has caught your attention. Who has been overvalued? Who has been underrated around the league? And I got to see a question I'm going to address from Clarence. He keeps talking about Tom Coughlin had y'all as AFC contenders the whole time he was here. Then why did he ever leave? What was the reason? If he was a contender every year, then what was the reason of him having to disperse from Jacksonville? If you don't mind answering that for me in the chat, and I'll address it after B&B spills his sauce.
It's pancakes here. And Deshaun Watson look just like Warren Moon. That's what we were saying every week. That's all John McClain said. But that's all we've heard this week is lazy analysis. Deshaun Watson, mobile quarterback. And let's see if he can transition to pocket quarterback when he threw more touchdowns than Marcus Mariota from the pocket. He threw more touchdowns than James Winston from the pocket. Like, lazy analysis. That's what we've been hearing. Like, the lazy analysis, like, Josh Allen's going to improve. He's not going to fucking improve. No, stop it. Stop it. Now, granted, he did make a solid play this week when he, took a little side step to the left and then threw to the right on the money, which is actually a positive bullet pass. Just whatever. Now, a slept-on player this week was, although I don't feel like it's slept on, but I feel like Aaron Rodgers was slept on because I feel like he's going to tear the league up again this year. I mean, he's going to tear it up. Yeah. It's just the makeup of that team. Also, equate him as St. Brown. Slept on. Dude's doing work still. Like I've always been saying. He's a bigger body receiver that first time Aaron Rodgers is going to have a big body receiver to go up and get it. Along with having Jimmy Graham next to him. Next on the inside. It's just something about those two players. I feel like it's maybe not as much as Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the league to me. The best at what he does. But for some reason, I still feel like he don't get enough coverage as he should. But they cover Tom Brady a lot, and they cover Antonio Brown. Maybe it's because he's in Green Bay, a smaller city, but for some reason, I feel like his performance this week was really slept on because they throws that nobody's made since Brett Favre.
well, Favre Rodgers comparison. Favre gonna run up on you, man. You know, Favre was hot about that. He was bad today. That's why all the greats hate. You know, eventually your day is gonna go. Like if I was a great, and I know I had somebody coming up, but of course you don't give them all the game right away. But you got to go ahead and tutor him so that way you can always say, oh, the reason he was good is because, you know, I gave him the sauce. I gave him the juice. He wouldn't have been that good if it wasn't for me. But if they find out you don't show the motherfucker no love and he come out balling and do better than you, then they're going to be like, shit, we should have went to this motherfucker earlier. Look, at least, you know, leave your stamp on the situation. But, Clarence, you said 6. So when is 6-10 in contention for the AFC? Because you said he was in contention. He was an AFC contender every year, and then they had a falling out because he went 6-10. And maybe I need the answer, so I'm just curious. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but you said contenders every year that he was there, but then they went 6-10. You know what I'm saying? I'm just curious about that. You know, well, Wayne Weaver made a mistake, I guess, and why did, you know, he said that because shit, you know, he went on to go, I guess, get some motherfucking me Super Bowls that it ain't gonna happen in Jacksonville. I mean, I know it felt good last year. I know it tickled your fancy. I know it just, you know, it's just so close, but yet so far because you guys still got number whatever, Blake, BB5, the Red Ryder. He's not the Red Ryder BB gun. He's just a BB gun. But again, man, my deal is this. You know, cool. Good luck to y'all because we'll see y'all in the motherfucking me. We'll see y'all during the season and we'll see what happens with that. But honestly, this is what we're gonna wrap it up just a little bit early so everybody will have time to, you know. Yeah, your Titty ain't been letting up off the gas the whole time. Titty been mashing the gas. But my thing is, man, I want to say shout out to everybody. Here's the deal, man. We gonna be live immediately after the game. We will have the sauce line open immediately after the game. You know what I mean? Oh, Dark Galaxy, I know your IQ level. If you go talk about Watson is trash as fuck, yet puts up better numbers than any rookie quarterback ever until he gets injured. People in logic, just that bothers me. I guess, you know, this younger generation, they don't believe in logic anyway. You know, half of them goddamn communists and socialists and shit. But anyway, so yeah. What you got?
I wasn't here when Clarence went off. Just give me back 30, 35, 45 seconds here.
Man, you go off. You got a maximum of 5 minutes. With 5 minutes, I'm cutting you off for cutting the whole stream off. So you got to do your thing, but go for it.
So Clarence said that the last year Coughlin and Weaver was there, you know, they got into it because Coughlin messed up the salary cap. So you saying Coughlin not messing up the salary cap right now? I'm just saying. You know, Mans did sign Blake Bortles, trash can, to a 5-year, $50 million contract. That's $10 million that could have gone to Jimmy, you know, Jalen Ramsey or Miles Jack. I'm just saying. When he's a free agent, y'all be negative 18, -20 million in gap. I'm just saying, boy. Just saying. I just got to point it out again. I don't know what your sources are. I'm just saying. I just got to point that out. My sources say that y'all be negative cap. I'm just saying.
Sources. Here's the deal, man. Say no, he's not handling the cap. Okay, so but he don't got no input. I thought he's the man. You say he running everything in Jacksonville, so why he don't have input on that? Why is he not in charge of that situation? The negatives, it ain't Coughlin, but any kind of little half-ass piece of credit, yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Y'all didn't have success until 10 years ago, and before that, y'all didn't have success until 10 years before that. So to act like y'all just had constant success while Coughlin was there before he left in 2002 is asinine. We can easily look up your records from every single year, and we'll see more often than not those seasons were losing seasons.
Clarence, your man, I don't know how to pronounce his name. If he's such a wizard at salary cap, He spent money with over $100 million. That's not being a wizard. You had over $100 million. It's not hard to spend. It's just not hard to finagle your way the $100 million. Here you go, Calais Campbell. Here you go, Boye.
Exactly.
Here you go, Barry Church.
Here you go, Norwell. Here you go, Gibson. Like, come on, bro. Like, you got guys. You got guys on this.
Oh, and I'm just saying, y'all made a mistake by getting DJ Hayden, biggest bust in the draft history.
Man,
as a second.
If yo whatever is a whiz, y'all, the smartest move y'all could be attempting to make right now is making a play for Teddy Bridgewater, because he's looking like the best thing shaking with the Jets, and he's been playing great, and he would put y'all in that consideration for something serious. But the fact that y'all really have this faith in Blake Bortles when he's shown y'all what he is. He showed you today what he is, dog. That was a simple I mean, it don't matter.
When it ain't in Fournette's hand or somebody else, when the game is on the line and he has to be the reason to take y'all home, he'll never be that guy. Ever. He don't possess that. He don't have the testicular fortitude to be that. He ain't an alpha man.
But
hey,
but
man,
we'll keep this after.
Yeah, exactly. It's about that time, man. We're gonna slide up out of here. Sauce Nation, we fuck with y'all. And again, immediately after the game, we're gonna be live and direct. Sauce line gonna be open. So Clarence, hey, if you want to spill your sauce, you're always more than welcome. You take everything that come with it.
Your ass call in, Clarence.
Yeah, because I want to discuss your game too. I want to know what happened with that. I want you to try to justify and validate that whole situation. But anyway, with that being said, man, Sauce Nation, y'all the freshest motherfucking ingredients. Make sure you go to StaySaucy.com. Check out some of that fresh sauce merch, man. You can get you one of these saucy mugs. Check the description below, man. Make sure you check the description below. Check out Breaking News Braylon. Check out Third Coast Sports TV. Give them guys a like, a sub, and a follow. Hey, man, like I say, we'll see y'all after the game. With that being said, go Texans. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Y'all stay saucy. Tell your mama, grandma, and your best friend about the Sauce Sports, man, and make sure they call in after the motherfucking stream. With that being said, we out.